Who do I have here with me today?
Hi, I'm Janet Farmer.
Janet Farmer. I appreciate your time very much.
Thank
Where are you
you.
originally from?
I am a native Floridian, born in Miami Beach,
Ooh.
but I have lived all over the US.
And what do you do?
Well, I'm a birth doula.
A birth what?
Doula,
Doula.
doula, yes.
Can you please help me? Because that's a new term to me.
Yes. So I'm a birth doula, a childbirth educator, and also a doula trainer. And so a doula is a woman that helps birthing families or postpartum families during that journey of pregnancy and birth. And then we also help them when they have the baby, which is called the postpartum part. And we don't do anything medical. So a lot of people think a doula is a midwife. So I think you said you're familiar with like the local birth center
Right.
over near where you live. Um, so they are midwives there. And so they do clinical care and they help deliver babies just like an OB would or a midwife would in a hospital.
They have medical training.
Right. They're
Okay.
medically trained professionals. They take care of the medical side of things. Their focus is to keep the families and the babies alive, right? We, as doulas, we do not do any of that. We get to do the fun part. So they're concerned with the health and well-being, medically. We're concerned with the health and well-being as far as their experience. So we like to help our clients make sure that they know their options, that they get their questions answered, that they feel supported and educated and informed, so they can make decisions for their family and for their birth experience that are right for them. So a lot of times people don't think about the fact that the birth experience is one of the most amazing, incredible journeys you're ever going to go on, right? That journey into parenthood. But there's a lot that goes into that. It's not just about picking out what color wallpaper you want on the nursery walls.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to it. And if you don't know your options, then you really don't have any,
So
right?
education and counseling.
Exactly.
Education and counseling.
Education, support. So we're there to even just, encourage and just kind of help them walk through the journey. A lot of times after they see their practitioner, they have questions because that 5 minutes that they were in with their OB, they don't really get their questions answered. And then, sometimes the practitioner talks in very medical terms, and the client is left feeling like, well, I don't really know what that meant, but they don't feel comfortable asking, or there's not even enough time. So they can come back to their doula and say, hey, the doctor mentioned this or that, and we don't give medical advice, but we can find information for them that's evidence based to say, well, this is what your doctor is probably talking about. Check this out, see how you feel about it, and then have a further discussion, with your practitioner about that. Or if that's not something you want to do, then you need to talk to them and what your options are. But they, without that, they kind of feel a little lost, and they're just kind of stumbling through this pregnancy
Yep.
process without anybody to really be on their side as far as, making sure that they do get the answers
Yeah.
that they need.
So especially if you're a first time
Mhm.
and someone with all of this experience
Yes.
comes in and says, look, we're here to educate and make you feel comfortable.
Mhm.
Let us bring our experience to you and you can feel safe and have a nice, natural.
Exactly.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes.
What a good idea.
And then they can have their birth however they want. And we do go with them to the birth if they want us to. So we do just, develop birth plans if they just want someone to help them put a plan together of their birth preferences that they can give their care provider when they go to have their baby. So that's one thing we offer. But most people hire us to also attend the birth with them. So wherever they're going to have their baby, hospital, birth center, home birth, we can go with them. And then we're there to provide comfort measures, just to help them walk through that whole journey of labor, help the partner help them, because most of the time the partners don't really know they want to help, but they're not quite sure what to do. So we can help them with
Oh, yeah.
that because we know what to do. The partner has that intimate knowledge of her, we have an intimate knowledge of birth.
Oh, yeah.
So we know what's normal. We know what's outside the realm of normal. We know when there is, reason for concern, or maybe, they need to make some decisions in that moment, and we can help them navigate that. It's not about what we want, it is about what they want.
It's almost like a birthing guardrail. If anything goes outside, we're here to keep you. That's fantastic.
And to help you, just help them get the experience that they want, because the experience matters. It's not just about having a safe delivery. Of course, we want that. I mean,
That's
goes without
given.
saying,
Everybody knows that.
right?
Yeah.
But their experience matters. They're going to carry that with them forever. And there is a lot of birth trauma out there. And then that birth trauma just kind of spills over into the postpartum depression side of it, and they just carry that with them. And some can, move past it faster than others, but some can't. It can be very traumatic for them. So it's kind of proven that having a doula present can help lower the risk of birth trauma. It can help lower the risk of having a cesarean birth as well. I mean, of course, we can't control birth, it's out of our hands.
That's
But
right.
just having someone there to help them navigate that. And a lot of people think, oh, when I go to the hospital, I'm going to have a nurse and she'll help me. But that's not the case. The nurses have their job. They're just trying to do their work. And there's a lot that they have to do, not even just for the patient care, but for the paperwork side of it, right?
Yeah.
They're not there to, help you navigate your
Theirs is more
experience.
mechanical. Theirs is just mechanical. I got to do this. Make sure you're this.
That's right. They're watching to make sure all the things are safe and going well. And we are concerned about that, but we don't have to do that part.
That's their responsibility. That's why they're there.
Yes. So we get to do the other part, which is, how is this experience going? Are things moving along as they should? If they're not, what do we need to do? Do we need to change positions? Does she need, I don't know, just a different pace? Does she need to rest now? Does she need to get up now? Things like that. So we try to, do things to help labor, move along as well as it can. But everything is their choice. We're not attached to their decisions. It's their
Objective, whatever they want.
experience.
And no two are going to be the same. It's always going to be different.
No. And I always like to relay it to, it's almost like being, a travel agent and a tour guide, right? So if people are going to take a trip, say they're going to take the trip of a lifetime, they've always wanted to go here and take this trip, right? What are they going to do? They're probably going to hire a travel agent because they want somebody that can say, hey, here's all the places you could go. Here's all your options. You could fly there. You could go by train. You could go by boat. Here's all the different places you could see, right? So that's kind of as a doula, how we help them put together their birth plan or their postpartum plan. Like, here's what to expect. Here's your options. What are your preferences? Let's get that down on paper. And of course, going over that, they're going to have questions. Well, I don't even know what this means. What is this? Just like they would if they were taking a trip. Well, I don't know. I've never been there. Is it hilly? Is it rocky? Is it cold? Is it hot? Do they speak English there? Yeah, that kind of thing. So, and then you move to the tour guide side of it. Well, that's kind of when, we go to the birth. We help them and, help them navigate that experience, just like a tour guide would take a group on a tour and show them around and tell them the highlights. But the tour guide wouldn't go do the tour for them. They still have their own experience with whoever they went with. So that's kind of the best way I can relay it, I guess.
Doula, what is that?
It's similar to the word as midwife is, woman servant.
Okay.
With woman, that kind of thing. So, I've been doing this over 30 years. Wow. So I'm kind of an oldie goldie, if you will. And I kind of got my start before doulas were even a thing, before it even kind of really had a name. I started with midwives, actually attending births as a birth assistant. Loved that. And that was more of doing the medical stuff. I was trained to help the midwife on the medical side. But as time went on, I really knew I enjoyed educating. So then I became a certified childbirth educator where I could teach birth classes. And I still
Okay,
do
yeah.
that today. I still teach birth
That's my
classes.
one of the videos I saw.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I still teach birth classes. I don't think people really understand how important a birth class is, but I hope to change that. Birth classes are super important, at least our classes. I don't know about what's offered everywhere else, but a birth class really lays that foundation for parents, for the partner and the mom. So the mom and the partner know what to kind of expect in the birth journey. What does labor look like? What can it look like? What could happen during the birth? What are some decisions I might need to make in the moment? And what is the evidence surrounding all these, options and interventions and all these things? So they'll learn about that in class. So then when it comes time to make their birth plan, they kind of really have a better understanding. So when it's time to put their birth preferences together on a birth plan, they actually know what their options are and they can make an informed decision about it.
And should anything unexpected happen, it can make it easier on them because they know this was an option that could have came.
Yes, yes. And really, knowledge is power.
That's right.
The more they know, the calmer they feel. And going into birth, afraid and nervous, they're already going to be afraid and nervous no matter what, right?
Of course.
But if they're empowered by having a good, solid foundation of knowledge, having a good birth plan in place, having a doula that's going to be there to support them, their experience is going to be so much different because they're going to feel more calm and more confident in their decisions.
Their stress level will be down as much
Yes.
because birthing is stressful and you need to lower that stress as much as possible.
Because it actually lowers the pain. So when you are more stressed, you're going to feel more pain. When you are less stressed, and we can get her to relax, because number one, she has the knowledge and the confidence that she can do this. Number two, we're there for comfort measures, position changes. We know things that can help ease her pain that are not medicine. She can certainly have medicine if she wants it. It's certainly her choice. But sometimes there's a gap between when you can get your epidural or whatever medicine you're going to take, or maybe you don't qualify to have that. Maybe you have a medical condition that's not going to let you even get medication.
I never.
And sometimes they just choose. They just don't want to have medication. They want to do it natural. So either way, we're there for comfort measures to help relieve that and to keep them calm and more comfortable.
When I think of stress, I actually literally think of muscles tightening.
They do.
They tighten. And so birthing is muscle.
It is.
And so if you're relaxed, if you're comfortable, the birth probably will go a lot smoother.
It definitely is different and it can slow things down if the mom is just, all tensed up. The uterus is a muscle too, and we're trying to teach her to keep everything loose and relaxed so baby can rotate the way he or she needs to get in the right position. It's a two-person thing here, the baby and the mom. They're both working to get the baby out. So we can support that.
And these are just questions that pop in my head.
Sure.
As learning. And what about like family members, additional family members want to be a part? Do they give you like the power to say, look, I don't need that person brings me stress. Please don't answer that call. Or
yes.
I don't know.
We do run into that. We actually talk about that at the birth planning meeting that we have with the client. We usually do 1 to 2 birth planning meetings to prepare, for the birth. And we'll talk. That's one of the things we bring up. Like, is there anybody that you're planning to have at your birth, or anybody that thinks they're going to be at your birth that you're not planning, that you don't want there? And we talk about that. And so we try to get them to have those hard conversations before the day of. Sometimes they just can't. And, and we're not going to speak to the family member directly beforehand, but the day of, we certainly can. We can say, I'm sorry, she's requested just her partner and her doula.
Yeah,
so I'm sorry, And they can be mad at me. It's okay. I can take it.
Yeah.
Because again, it's all about the mom and the partner, their experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes a best friend does that. someone who's been your friend your whole life, and they're that person. If they don't have that, the doula can step in with more
Yes.
experience.
Well, that's the thing, and a best friend certainly can support you. A mom can support you, a neighbor, whoever, another woman supporting you can make a difference even in that. But we are skilled. We are trained. We've taken a class. We've taken a certification. We're certified. We're not licensed or anything. There's no licensure involved because we don't do anything medical. But we are certified and we're trained. So we know things that the average person is not going to know when it comes to comfort measures and optimal positioning to allow baby to rotate and move and come out. Because sometimes labor stalls just because baby's in a wonky position. So we can kind of
Yeah,
help
you've
with
mentioned that a couple of times, so that's probably pretty important.
It
You
is.
probably experienced that quite a bit.
Yeah.
So how does the hiring go? How does a potential mother to be, how does the billing or pricing, or how does that?
So it's usually direct pay. So for in regards to us, I own a company, Bellies to Babies. We are a doula agency. So I think I'm maybe one of the only doula agencies in Polk County. A lot of doulas work independently, but I've chosen to open an agency because I'm at the point where I train and mentor doulas now as
Wow.
well. So I have two other doulas that work beside myself right now, and we may add more in the future, just as demand grows. But so we have a team. And so people will reach out to me at Bellies to Babies through our website or through social media. And then we'll have a free, I call it like a discovery call. And so we'll do like a Zoom meeting, or if they want to meet in person, we can. And we'll just chat about what is it that they're looking for in hiring a doula, then I try to match them with which of my doulas I feel like is the best fit for them.
Sure.
What are they looking for? I mean, all my doulas are awesome and they're handpicked by me. And actually, I train them.
Of
So,
course.
yeah. And we're all certified through Birth Boot Camp, the doulas that work with me. And so that's the company I train for as well.
Okay. I seen a video of pregnant women out on a park on mats and stuff. What is that, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so I was collaborating with a local physical therapist, a local PT in Lake Wales, and she deals with moms and babies, and I do too. So we just kind of connected and collaborated, and she wanted to do a mommy and me yoga thing in the park. And I said, well, let me sponsor a couple of moms. So let's do a prize drawing. And that's what we did. So
That's
I
fantastic.
sponsored two moms. So we kind of just, everybody that signed up, we just drew their name and I gave them a little gift bag with all kinds of fun things in it, as well as their tuition back for the event. So, yeah, so I like to connect and collaborate with other people that have the same, niche, basically, moms and babies. That's what we do. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that work in that field, chiropractors, lactation consultants, yoga teachers, massage therapists. There's a lot of people to collaborate and connect with.
So is that yoga? Just out of curiosity, is that yoga? Is that like medically? Um, did she teach them, like you, more of a counselor to keep your body natural and loose, or is it a medical thing that they're asking them to do to do your Pilates, to do your yoga? Is that a choice each person? Is that
No, it's just personal choice. I
okay?
mean, I think their practitioner, their care provider would say, do what you've already been doing. They usually say it's okay to continue
Oh, okay.
if you've already been exercising. This was geared towards moms that had already had their babies, but I know there were a couple of pregnant mamas there too,
Okay.
with who also had little ones. So, as long as they're comfortable, and she did a very mild form of yoga. It was really more of that, just stretching, relaxing, breathing well, but then also just having that interaction between mom and child to have something fun. Yeah. And then to build that community of the moms. It's important for the moms to be around other moms. And we're so busy with work and all the things. And I know that, there's social media you can get on and, kind of join groups and things, but there's just something about having that human interaction and, connection in person.
Yeah, that's still more important.
It is.
That's
It's
still the
super
most
important.
important.
Moms can feel very lonely in that job of momming and working and all the things. They can really, they're busy, but they're still lonely.
Yeah.
So anytime we can help, as Bellies to Babies can help jump on that train of getting moms together, we're all about it.
That's fantastic. So you've been doing it for 30 years, all the experience. Is there anything new in the future or anything? Is it new technologies or just you got it down? Just let me help you.
Well, I mean, we've recently added the postpartum aspect, so we haven't really talked about that. So postpartum would be obviously after they have the baby and they go home. So now they haven't probably slept for maybe a good 24 hours or so, and then they're sent home with this tiny little human
I remember.
that they
It's happened
really
twice.
don't know what to do with. You know, we think if we just feed it and change it and lay it down, it should be fine. But on the baby's side, you know, the baby's just been born and the baby might sleep really well like that first 24 hours. But by the time the parent gets home, that first night home, a lot of times that's when the baby like actually wakes up and is like, hey, wait a minute, where's my waterbed? You know,
Yeah,
it's really bright and loud out here. And why am I wearing these
I'm
things? I'm wearing
freezing.
clothes now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's all different. Baby wakes up and baby's not happy about it. Like, I'm not really happy to be out of my comfy, cozy womb. So, baby's awake, maybe really fussy that first night. Parents really haven't slept well in the last 24, 48 hours. Who's going to help them? Who's going to stay up all night and help them with that baby that's just adjusting to life outside the womb? And even further past that, not even just those first few days, but maybe those first couple of weeks as the mom is recovering from having her child. Well, that's where the postpartum doula can come in. So we can do a variety of things. Our main concern is support of the mother and the baby, making sure that that relationship bonding is going well, feeding is going well, that somebody's getting some sleep around there, you know, as much as can be, because baby's going to eat every couple of hours. So, but mom can just, you know, feed the baby and let somebody else do the diaper change and all the things and get baby back down to sleep. So the postpartum doula can help with that. A lot of people around here don't have family nearby. If you have family that can help with that, that's great. But a lot of people don't. Or the grandparents maybe are working and they're not able to really be. And people aren't used to staying up all night either. Whereas, I mean, that's kind of what we do because babies like to come in the night. So we're kind of used to
That's
that.
funny because we went in the hospital at 9 o'clock in the morning and he wasn't born until 9 o'clock at night.
Mhm. Yes, yes. So it could be, and that's a pretty good time span because a lot of times it's not till 9 o'clock the next morning
Oh,
before the baby
wow.
comes. And I think that's the other thing people don't realize sometimes how long it takes to get a baby out, and it can easily take that long. Not always, but it can.
Have you heard of Pitocin?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
remember that word.
yes. So a lot of people are afraid of that,
Yep.
and understandable, and it does definitely make labor more intense. It is a little harder for moms to not have pain medication if they wanted a natural birth, but then now they're given Pitocin to speed labor along or to get labor started. But that's not the only augmentation thing out there. There's a lot of other things the care providers can do for their client before they get to the Pitocin part. Sometimes it is strict Pitocin, you know, you'll get through it, you'll be fine. And if you need medication, they have it for you. But of course, we're going to be very much hands on comfort measures support when mom is,
Yeah.
you know, upper.
We that one you don't forget those.
Yeah.
You don't forget
Yeah.
that.
It's definitely more intense.
Yep. Well, fantastic. You've educated me. It's
Did you know anything like this existed?
no, nothing like that. I mean, I know the midwife. I know a nurse. And I'm the oldest of four boys.
Okay.
And so, mom, I always helped raise my brothers. I mean,
Nice.
so I learned a lot as a kid.
Awesome.
And then when it was my turn, I was like, I know exactly what to do. This is a piece of cake. And so I'm very fortunate. I helped raising my brothers.
That's great.
That when it was my turn, I'm
That's good.
quite comfortable.
That's good. A lot of people are not ever around birth. They're really not. Like, they're not around birth or new babies until they have their own. And so, and we see that more and more, I think, since, just because society has changed so much. You used to have all your family close by. So you always, you saw your cousins spend the
Sure.
morning, all these different things, but it's not like that now. So people are very, a lot on their own, more
Yeah.
so. So,
Yeah. Yeah. When it came time for me to raise my kids, I was doing it the second time. I'm like, I already know what to do.
mhm.
I'm raising them for the second. And now my son's 24, my daughter's 19. I don't want to do it a third time. I'll let them. We'll hire you guys. I don't want to do it a third time.
Well, and as speaking as a grandparent, I have 11 grandkids
11.
myself.
Oh my.
Yes. And I have been fortunate to be my daughters and my daughter-in-law's doula for their births. It is not easy to be the grandparent and to be the one having to
Oh
support. So
wow.
even if a grandparent's there, it's really nice to have the doula there that doesn't have the emotional attachment to what's happening.
Yeah.
Because as the grandma, and even though I'm a doula and I'm experienced, when I was there, it was harder for me to do their births because I had that emotional
That
attachment to what
emotion
was
is so
happening.
high.
Yes, yes. And it was interesting. I didn't expect to feel that way, but now I can really understand what those grandmothers are, going
Yeah.
through. So, and even, people hire doulas not just for their first birth. A lot of times their first birth, they maybe didn't have a doula, but now they're having a baby and they didn't have a great experience. So they might be having their second or third or even fourth baby, and they might choose to still hire a doula because they know what a difference. And that's most people that do know what we do, that's what I hear. Oh, I didn't have one with my first, and I had one with my second, and the difference was unparalleled. And they would never do it again without a doula.
Yeah.
So you certainly can. You certainly can do birth without a doula.
Sure.
However, I don't recommend it.
There you go. Imagine
Desire.
that your the service that you provide has probably been around for thousands of years with different names.
Yes.
It's
I
been
mean, it's just what
it's
people
human.
did,
Yeah.
back when everybody had their babies at home, back before there were hospitals and things like that.
Mhm.
Other women always supported the birthing woman.
Yeah, I
It's
remember the men had to stay outside the door back in the 60s.
for the longest time, the men
Yeah.
couldn't even come in. So, women supported other women and they were all experienced at birth, so they knew how to help, right? And so midwives were the first ones to be delivering babies back in the day. And they still do it today and they do a great job. And if you really compare, the outcomes for midwifery birth and midwifery care versus obstetrical care, there's polar opposites difference. How many end up like in a cesarean birth and things like that. So, I just whatever care provider makes sense for that couple, that birthing couple, that's who they need to go with. They need to go with who they're comfortable with as far as a care provider. But what happens is a lot of times insurance dictates where they can go.
Oh,
And so they don't have the options. But now a lot of midwives, we have a couple of midwifery practices in Polk County, and they can see them prenatally, but the couple can still deliver at the hospital if they want. Because a lot of times they want that midwifery care, which is much more personalized and a little bit more caring atmosphere. It's not rushed. They want that for their prenatal care, but they're not comfortable delivering at home or at a birth center. But they can still go to the hospital. A lot of people don't even know that's an option. But as doulas, we can say, hey, what is it that you're looking for? If they're not already solid on who they've chosen for their care provider, we can talk about that. Like, well, here's your options.
yeah.
What seems right for you? Because for every family, it's different. And we just support whatever that family
That's right.
wants. We just really want to support their experience and their decisions. Birth is different than like, having your rotator cuff worked on or something. Birth is an experience. It's an emotional, psychological, like all it's
Privilege.
the whole body experience. It's not just, hey, I need my arm fixed. In birth, we're not fixing something, right? They're not they're not broken.
They're
We're
experiencing
not fixing
privilege.
that. Yes, they're experiencing the journey of a lifetime. And they deserve to have the experience that they want and that they're going to be happy play that reel over in their mind over and over again because they're going to. You're never gonna forget your birth experience.
That's right.
And I don't care how
Even
old
as
you
a
are.
father.
Exactly.
Even as a father.
Exactly.
No doubt about it.
And a lot of people do not even take into account the partner, and we really do. And some people think, well, a lot of times the partners will be like, well, is a doula going to take my place? And that's not what we're there. We're there to support both the mom and the dad and to help him help her because he just wants to help her. And so we want to help him be able to do that.
Well, I'm glad to know that you exist. I'm glad to know that it goes out and making the world a better place, making it smoother. That is fantastic.
Well, Lakeland is fortunate. We have quite a few doulas in the area in Polk County. So we're really blessed to have so many awesome doulas working. And so we just encourage parents to start getting out there and, finding a doula. Every mom deserves a doula.
Yeah. So when you say you hire people, do they have medical training? Do they have counseling training? How do you hire your doulas if you don't mind me asking?
That's a great question. They don't have to have medical training because, again, as doulas, we don't do anything medical, but they do have to be certified. And so the doulas that I currently have working for me actually were personally trained by me because I do train as an independent contractor for a company called Birth Boot Camp.
Birth Boot Camp, okay.
Yep, and they provide, they have like online classes and then they have professional certifications for birth doula, postpartum doula, and childbirth education. And I'm certified in 2 of the 3 of those with them right now.
So you provide a service of someone wanting to become a...
Correct.
Oh, okay. So you got 2 little...
Yeah. So that's the Doula's Mentors, like my other business.
Okay.
And so under that, I train doulas. So I have a training coming up in July and I have a training coming up in November. So about three times a year.
Okay.
They have to do their online coursework through Birth Boot Camp. So they have to go to birthbootcamp.com if they want to register to sign up to become a certified doula. And then they could sign up for my workshop, which will be live. So once they've completed their coursework, they'll attend a 3-day live workshop with me in person. And then we move on to they've already learned all the basics of, how to support a mom in pregnancy and birth and all of that. So now when they come to the workshop, they're ready for learning the hands-on part and all of that and the business side of it too. And then now I have a private coaching business with the Doula's Mentor. So new doulas that are like trying to get their business going or they're just not quite sure how to get the word out about what they do. And I can kind of help them get started. So I offer coaching packages, mentoring packages.
So you're helping the client, you're helping potential business helpers to help them all?
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful.
It's fun. Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah. I just want to see, more doulas out there being successful because the more successful they are, they'll stay in it longer. They've got to make a living at this or they can't stay in it. It's hard work. And you give up a lot to be a doula. You're on call for 4 weeks at a time for a client sometimes. Wow. Yeah, because you start going on call about 2 weeks prior to the due date and you stay on call till they have the baby. So that could be up to 2 weeks postpartum, 2 weeks past their due date. So doulas work hard and they deserve to be paid well.
And I have come to a question. You yourself.
Yes.
Have you had children?
Yes. 3 children.
3 children.
11
and so
grandchildren.
Did you have someone or did you know? Because if you're the birthing mother, you know what's supposed to do it, but you kind of concentrate. Did you? I mean, just out of curiosity, any of yours?
So back when I had my babies, which I will tell you how old I am, there weren't doulas. There really weren't doulas. There were midwives, but those were even in short supply. So I had my babies back in the 80s, early 80s, but I was mentored by a chiropractor's wife who had 4 children naturally. I wanted a natural birth. With my first one, I didn't know that much about birth. I actually was adopted, so I hadn't really been around birth very much. So I didn't know that much, but I did know I wanted a natural birth. And somebody put me in touch with this chiropractor's wife who was very educated, had all kinds of books and things for me to read. And she talked to me and she just kind of mentored me on birth. And I fell in love with it. And I looked for a midwife. I wanted to have a midwife for my birth, but there just wasn't anyone around at that time locally. and I ended up delivering in Winter Haven Hospital with my first one. By the time I had my second and my third, I did find the local midwives over here at Celebrate Birth, actually the birth center here in town. It used to be called Labor of Love back when I had my baby.
Is that the one that's behind?
Mhm.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. So now it's called Celebrate Birth, but back in the 80s, it was Labor of Love. And so I had my second and my third child there.
Oh, you did.
And then after my third child, the midwife there, I had formed a relationship with her and had two babies with her. She called me one day and offered me a job as a receptionist. And I was like, oh, I'd love to be working in that space. So yeah, so I took the job as like her receptionist, checking in the patients before they went back to see the midwife and all that. And one day she needed the birth assistant couldn't get there in time and she needed me to go in the back with her to help and just to assist her, just to be that second pair of hands and handle
Sure.
things. So I did that and I looked at her when it was over and I said, you need a new receptionist because I
This is
want to be
mine.
working
This is
with
what I
her.
would do.
Yeah. And then not long after that, I became a certified childbirth educator. And then when doulas became a thing, I went and became a doula. And so, yeah, that's just kind of
how it
how
all
it got.
started.
Yeah, and that's how it does for a lot of moms, after their birth experience, whether they had a doula or didn't, a lot of times that's what brings them to birth work. That's how they find out. So,
I live not, I mean, houses away from that place. And when I come home that way behind Red Lobster,
mhm.
I always look over there. And this is true. I always look at that house and they've got the most beautiful iron. It's a woman and a
Yes.
baby iron thing on
Isn't
their.
it beautiful?
I appreciate it every time I drive by. Every time I drive by, I like that whoever did that iron thing, I really appreciate.
I
I
think
see
it
it all
was
the
a
time.
client of theirs. I'm not 100% sure, but somebody special to them made that for them. You should tour that place.
I should. I've been there
It's
20 years.
beautiful inside. It is such a beautiful space. So for anybody that, wants good medical care, but they don't want the hospital environment for their birth, this is like a home environment, but yet it has all the medical things kind of tucked away, ready for use at any moment.
How can people get in contact with you again?
So on our website, Bellies, like Bellies dash the number two dash babies.com.
Okay.
Or on social media, we're Bellies two with no dashes, Bellies two babies FL for Florida. Bellies two babies FL.
Well, I appreciate it. I want to thank Cove Hats for letting me use this beautiful room.
So nice.
And if you know someone who is interested, go to Bellies to Babies and check them out.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janet.
It's a
Have a
pleasure.
fantastic day.
Thank you.